Holiday greetings and salutations, Commander. This is Commander Hong Long from Hong Long Wuxia, and I have finally returned to the bubble. I got back about a week and a half ago to do my part for the community in the war against the Thargoids. So far, I've been exclusively doing rescue missions, but then at a certain point, I realized, hey, just because they're refugees, it doesn't mean that they can't travel in style. So I headed on over to Jameson Memorial, stripped down my Python, and got myself a beluga liner. Now, while we want the refugees to travel in style, we also want to get out as many refugees with each trip as possible. So I ditched the business and first class cabins and installed all economy size cabins. I also got her a red paint job and gave her a new name, the Dugu Chubai, which is the name of a character who does not actually appear, but is mentioned in 3 novels by Louis Cha, who also goes by the name of Yin Zhang. If you don't know who he is, if you've watched any Chinese wuxia films, you have definitely seen something that was based on one of his works. And if you haven't, you will become a little bit more familiar with him and some of his works through watching my videos, as I will reference them quite a bit. Now, when I first started doing the rescue missions, I was going to the Sadi Carnot ring in the New Guang system. But that was a station that was under attack, and I was getting interdicted in hyperspace on my way to New Guang, and then once I got there, I was getting interdicted again on my way to the starport, and then once, of course, I got to the starport, I was getting attacked, and by that time, there was usually nothing left of me. I could withstand 2 attacks, and then that was it. So instead, as you've seen, I'm headed now towards the Descartes terminal, which is just on alert. But they also have rescue missions for refugees, and the missions are essentially the same missions, and they pay the same. And of course, I'm still getting interdicted on my way there. Usually, I can handle being interdicted twice, but occasionally, I'll get interdicted into hyperspace, and the Thargoids will appear in front of me, and I'll have to get around them, and yeah, that sometimes doesn't work, and I wind up being redeployed at the fleet carrier Kataria. That's happened a number of times. The only thing that really sucks about going to Descartes rather than one of the other stations that are actually under attack is that you don't have to run and jump when you're leaving, so you don't have the excitement of trying to escape from an attack while you're jumping out. You're still getting, I have gotten interdicted 2 or 3 times jumping out of the system, but that's pretty negligible given the number of runs that I've done. Now, in regards to my beluga here, one of the things I don't like is, man, does this thing run hot. Literally every time I go into Super Cruise or I do a jump, I have to drop a heat sink or I'm going to start cooking. Now, while that doesn't concern me all that much, I am concerned for the refugees I'm transporting. They've already been through enough hardship. They should not have to deal with having their flesh cooked as they're flying away to safety. They already have enough to deal with running away from the Thargoids, and not to mention I've had slavers ask me to drop them off elsewhere for a tidy sum instead of bringing them to the rescue ship. So now, as I've already mentioned, one of the things I'm also interested in doing besides saving the refugees is ranking up in the Federation, because I want to get me one of those sweet Corvettes. And just like their feudal counterparts in the Empire, the bourgeois bastards in the Federation force you to spend quite a bit of time ranking up before you can purchase certain things. Now, I know you couldn't see me, but I was just doing air quotes for that. Once I get my audio interface up and running, and I start streaming, you will actually be able to see me. In any case, at this station, there is only one Federation faction, and they usually have 3 or 4 missions available. I can generally always take 2. Sometimes I can get 3 missions, and and then I'll not have any more space for any of the other passengers. So I'll back out, and then I'll go back in and I'll take missions from any of the other factions. And then at that point, I'll just try and race out and get back to the rescue ship as quickly as possible without bowing down to the slavers and ditching my passengers. Now, over the last few days, I've been busy with other things, so I've stepped away from Elite. But when I get back to it, I will continue running these same rescue missions. Although, from now on, when I excuse me, when I don't get interdicted, I'm going to go to the ship that's under attack and rescue people from there. And also, I'm going to take my Challenger out of mothballs and outfit it for Thargoid combat and see how well I do with that. I'm also planning on buying a crate Mark II. When I was playing on the PlayStation, I had one of those, and that was the main ship that I used for combat. And I really liked it a lot. I still like the cutter better, but for combat, I mean, even for combat, the cutter was better. But with the cutter, you could just plow over there, and you really didn't need to. You didn't need to have a whole lot of skill. With the crate, you still needed to show a little bit of skill, especially for the harder opponents. Now that's not to make the claim that I have any skill when it comes to combat skills, but yeah, it's new. And as you can see here, I got my new red paint job immediately. I spent most of my arc on upgrading my fleet carrier's voice, so yeah, I had to get the cheapest red paint job I can, and actually I kind of like it. It looks pretty cool. Now if I ever get my audio interface working and I start streaming, I'll actually go out and purchase some arcs and make my fleet look a lot prettier for the camera. Anyway, I do have a question that I'm going to go throw out for anybody who's watching, and if you would like, please respond in the comments. And if you do not respond in the comments, maybe, or nobody does respond in the comments, I guess it's something that I'll look up, investigate, and make another video on. But the influence thing does not seem to be working here. I mean, if you'll notice, each of these missions, the minimum influence you should be achieving is is two of those arrows for influence. And if you look, like this one is supposed to be getting 3. My percentage remains at 0. And if we look at any of the other ones, we'll see the same exact thing. Actually, I think I've done a few where you're supposed to. Well, this one's got you listed for 3 blocks, and yeah, the influence is still standing at 0. Now, I'm going to wager a guess that has to do with the Thargoid War. I generally don't even look up the influence. I'm guessing it's going to have something to do with the missions that they're going to grant you in the future, kind of like the reputation. But yeah. Anyway, so if you have any insight into that, please comment in the space down below. Now, as I said, I've been doing this to rank up. Trying to find a place to rank up was difficult. As you can see here, there was a courier mission available right away, but I did not have the reputation to do so. Or it was reputation locked. So I spent a little bit of my hard-earned credits. Well, let's call it hard-earned, but well, in some cases, yes, hard-earned credits on upping my reputation, and then checking it out again. And of course, the mission is not that's available is not a courier mission. It's a black box retrieval, and yeah, I'm riding around in my beluga liner. So unless it's some sort of passenger mission or a courier mission, I'm not going to be able to do it. So I backed out, and I was actually surprised that this worked. That well, first I donated some more money. And you also, when you donate money, you want to remember to make sure you complete that mission so it actually takes the money. But anyway, so I backed out, and after donating some more money, Navy strike contract. So this is what I was surprised worked. So I back out again, and then I just selected transportation, and wow, voila, looky there, Federal Navy courier job, one that I can complete. So after accepting the mission, I backed out once again, and I took all of the refugee missions that were available. I think there was one that was also a tourist. And then I headed off to Terry Port in the Garoko system to up my Navy Federal rank. Or my Federal Navy rank, there we go. And of course, after checking up on the list of Federal Navy ranks, I was highly disappointed to learn that I still have 3 more ranks to go before I can get my Corvette. But I guess the good news is that means I'll be saving a whole lot more refugees. And since I'm going to be entering the combat phase, I hear tell that there's a lot more money and the ranking should be faster doing that. Anyway, commanders, if you liked the video, hit the button down below. As always, subscribe, share to your social media accounts, and don't let anyone tell you how to fly. Do what you like. 07 commanders, and Happy New Year. Frohe Weihnachten and Jinyen Kwaila.